But I don't see it the same as somebody who was more left-wing in college and now is more right. Like, there's a natural evolution that happens with young people in our society. And I get that. Like you march for Greenpeace when you're 20 and then you turn into Michael Schellenberger. That's exactly his story, by the way. He got hired for Greenpeace and then sort of learned some things and now has become the brilliant guy on climate that we know him to be. This is totally different. Like, the Israel thing is special in the way that I don't know the person who would see 1,400 dead civilians murdered in their beds, in their cribs, and within 24 hours put out a statement blaming them entirely and cheering it on the streets. That asshole college professor, he was a young guy too, saying he was exhilarated by it. He was excited. There's something wrong with those. There's something especially wrong with those people.
Well, what we've done is we've created, not you, obviously, or people listening, but we've created these people in our society, Megyn. I'll explain it this way. Let's say I raise my sons, and I have a dream of raising football players, right? But I never tell them about football. I never let them watch football. But instead, I get them super strong. They're in the weight room. They're out there doing various other sports. So they're fast, they're strong, they're ready to go. And then one day they discover football and boom, I've got some good football players on my hands. Why? Because I've created them. I've nurtured, I've put all the structure in place to create a football player. All it would take at the end is them discovering it, just a little nudge and boom, I've got me a football player on my hands. That's what we've done with young people, not just young people, actually, that's not fair. There's a lot of older people that are just the same in this country. That's what happens when you educate people in a country for years and years and years and years and years about why their country sucks. It really does matter. What you've done is when you start in the third grade and you tell them, you know what America is? Slavery. And by the time you get to college, you're telling them how horrible everything is. When you do that to generation after generation, no, they may not have been vicious little Hamas praising murderers last year, but you've put the structure in place. They've lifted the weights. They've run the sprints. They're ready to go. And now all it takes is a new cause. All you have to do is aim them in whatever direction you want, and they're prepped and ready to go. We have a nation of young people especially, but we have a nation now, 20, 30%, pick your number, of commies prepped, ready to go. They've lifted the weights. They've run the sprints. All it's going to take is a direction. Just push them that direction, and they're off.
You're so right. I got to hearing you explain it. That sounds exactly right. Because I was talking to my friend, her son is at NYU, and we were talking about the lunacy there. And she was saying, and she's right, this wouldn't happen to him because she and her husband have raised him differently. Like they're raising their kids the way you and I are raising our kids, fortifying them before they go off to these institutions to deal with the nonsense. And it's not an indoctrination to the right. It's just an understanding on how to critically think, understanding who you are, where you come from, love of country. You're inoculated against the madness. And yet there's this other set of parents out there doing something very different, like, as you say, priming the pump to get them ready to receive the host virus and let it fester and grow.
And a lot of these parents now that you're seeing this especially in older Jewish parents, they clearly did not realize what they were doing. They didn't realize they were priming that pump and getting them lifting weights ready for football. There was a story a couple days ago, I covered it on my show, it was the New York Post. It was in the New York Post about a Brooklyn dad, a Jewish dad, who fired his own son. And I'm not going to list the guy's name. I actually don't like when they call these people, when they blast their names and stuff like that out there. But he's a Jewish dad, fires his own son. And you go through the article. Why did he fire his son? His son is out there. Dad is Jewish. His son is out there with his girlfriend, ripping down all these posters of missing Israeli kids and things like that.
Yeah,
Pro-Hamas,
he's a magician. We talked about it.
Kill all the Jews. Yeah, kill all these Jews, all these other things. And dad is out there saying, that's not who he is. That's not how I raised him. Well, I'm sorry, no matter what you are, if you raise your child to be a Democrat in this country, because it's not 1960 anymore, JFK is long gone. In 2023, if you raise your child to be a Democrat, that is how you raised them. You raised them to be foot soldiers, to be little commie foot soldiers. And so when they turn out that way, don't look back in horror. I know Donald Trump is a big meanie McMean face, and that justified everything. You raise your kids to be a Democrat in this country. Don't be shocked when that's how they turn out.
I still see a split between the woke Democrats and the regular ones. I have so many people I love in my life who are normal Democrats. Now, we won't vote the same necessarily, but they're normal. They don't believe in this shit either, but they have to be non-woke. If you're a woke Democrat, you're in danger, and you're probably raising kids who are potentially in danger of being susceptible to this virus that you can catch very easily on college campuses or even high schools. Say goodbye to aches and pains. Get started today with the Relief Factor 3-week quick start kit. It's just $19.95 and it comes with a feel better or your money back guarantee. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Live the life you love with Relief Factor. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.